You know, when you wake up each morning, the world's already throwing noise at you. Expectations, doubts, comparisons. It's like stepping into a storm before you've even had your coffee. But here's the first thing you need to tell yourself every single day: I am enough. Let that sink in for a moment. Not, I'll be enough when I get that promotion, or I'll be enough when I look a certain way. No. Right now, in this moment, with every flaw, every scar, every dream you're still chasing, you are enough. And I'm not saying this to make you feel good for 5 minutes. I'm saying it because it's a truth you need to anchor yourself to, a foundation that holds up no matter what life throws your way. Let's break this down. Psychologically, we're wired to seek approval. It's in our DNA, going back to when survival meant fitting into the tribe. But in today's world, that instinct can trap us in a cycle of chasing external validation. Likes on a post, a nod from the boss, a compliment from a stranger. The problem is, when you tie your worth to what others think, you're handing over your power. You're letting someone else's opinion, or worse, their indifference, define who you are. That's a dangerous game. Philosophers like Socrates talked about self-knowledge as the root of a good life. He wasn't wrong. Knowing you're enough isn't arrogance. It's clarity. It's looking in the mirror and seeing not just your reflection, but the undeniable reality of your existence, your potential, your inherent dignity. Now, don't misunderstand me. Saying, I am enough, doesn't mean you stop growing or striving. It's not a free pass to coast through life. It's the opposite. It's the courage to pursue your goals without the weight of self-doubt dragging you down. Think about it. How many times have you hesitated to take a risk because you thought you weren't qualified, weren't ready, weren't worthy? That hesitation isn't logic. It's fear dressed up as logic. When you start your day by affirming your enoughness, you're not just boosting your confidence. You're rewiring your mind to act from a place of strength. You're telling yourself, I don't need to be perfect to start. I don't need to be someone else to succeed. I'm enough to take the first step. This idea ties into the other things you'll tell yourself daily, like choosing to focus on what you can control or embracing each day as a fresh start. If you don't believe you're enough, how can you trust yourself to seize new opportunities or bounce back from setbacks? You can't. The belief that you're enough is the root of resilience. It's what lets you say, yeah, I failed yesterday, but I'm still here, still capable, still worthy of trying again. It's the quiet conviction that no matter how loud the world's criticism gets, it doesn't get to rewrite your story. Let's get real for a second. The world isn't always kind. It'll try to tell you you're not enough. Too young, too old, too different, too ordinary. And sometimes it's not even the world. It's that voice in your head, the one that replays every mistake, every time you fell short. That voice isn't you. It's a liar. And the way you silence it is by choosing every single day to affirm your worth. Not because you've earned it, but because it's yours by virtue of being human. Existentialist thinkers like Sartre would say your essence isn't fixed. It's shaped by your choices. So choose to define yourself as enough. Choose to believe that your presence in this world matters. Now, I know this isn't easy. We live in a culture that thrives on comparison, that profits off making you feel like you're one purchase, one achievement, one something away from being whole. But here's the truth: wholeness isn't out there. It's in you right now. And when you start your day by saying, I am enough, you're not just speaking words, you're claiming your power. You're setting the tone for how you'll face challenges, how you'll treat others, how you'll treat yourself. It's not about ignoring your flaws. It's about seeing them as part of the masterpiece that is you. Flaws don't diminish your worth. They deepen it. They're proof you've lived, fought, survived. This affirmation isn't a one-time fix. It's a daily practice, a discipline. Some days it'll feel natural, like the sun rising. Other days, It'll feel like a battle, like you're shouting into a void. Say it anyway. Say it until it becomes the rhythm of your soul. Because when you believe you're enough, you move differently. You walk into rooms with purpose. You take risks with conviction. You love others without fear of losing yourself. And that, my friends, is where real change begins. Not in chasing someone else's idea of perfection, but in embracing the truth of who you are. So, tomorrow morning, when you wake up before the world gets loud, look yourself in the eye and say, I am enough. Let it be your shield, your strength, your truth. Because when you own that, nothing can hold you back. You are enough, not tomorrow, not someday, but right now. And that's a truth worth living. Let me take you to that moment when you open your eyes each morning. The world's quiet for a second, but your mind, it's already racing. Yesterday's mistakes, last week's regrets, that one thing you said you wish you could take back. Before you let that weight settle in, there's something you need to tell yourself, something to set the tone for the day. Today is a fresh start. Not a continuation of yesterday's failures, not a rerun of old battles, but a brand new canvas. This isn't just a feel-good phrase. It's a mindset, a deliberate choice to see each day as a clean slate, brimming with possibility. And trust me, that choice can change everything. Think about it. Psychologically, we're wired to carry baggage. Our brains love patterns, and sometimes they cling to the negative ones. Every misstep, every time we fell short. It's called the negativity bias, and it's real. It makes us dwell on what went wrong instead of what could go right. But when you wake up and say, today is a fresh start, you're hitting reset. You're telling your mind, I'm not defined by yesterday's stumbles. I'm defined by what I choose to do now. That's power. That's freedom. Philosophers like Nietzsche talked about the eternal return, the idea of living each moment as if you'd choose it again and again. This affirmation is your way of choosing the present, of saying yes to the opportunity in front of you. Now, this doesn't mean you ignore the past. The past teaches us, shapes us, but it doesn't own us. When you affirm that today is a fresh start, you're not erasing yesterday. You're deciding it won't control today. This ties right into knowing you're enough. Because if you believe in your worth, you can trust yourself to begin again. It's also about focusing on what you can control, because a new day means new choices, new actions, new chances to show up as your best self. You don't get to rewrite history, but you get to write the next chapter. That's where your power lies. Let's be honest. Some days, this is hard. You wake up and the weight of yesterday feels like a brick on your chest. Maybe you missed a deadline, let someone down, or didn't show up the way you wanted. That's when this affirmation matters most. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about recognizing that you have the agency to start over. Psychologically, this is tied to self-compassion. Researchers like Kristen Neff have shown that treating yourself with kindness, especially after failure, boosts resilience. Saying, today is a fresh start, is an act of self-compassion. It's giving yourself permission to let go of guilt and step into possibility. This idea resonates with the Stoics too. Marcus Aurelius wrote about focusing on the present moment, about not letting the past or future steal your peace. When you tell yourself today is a fresh start, you're practicing that Stoic discipline. You're saying, I can't change what happened, but I can change what happens next. And that's not just philosophy, it's practical. Maybe you didn't hit the gym yesterday. Today, you can lace up your shoes. Maybe you snapped at someone you love. Today, you can apologize and mean it. Every sunrise is a reset button, but you've got to press it. You've got to choose it. This affirmation also sets you up for growth. If you're telling yourself you're capable of overcoming challenges, as we'll talk about later, a fresh start is your launch pad. It's the belief that no matter how many times you've fallen, you can stand up again. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Each day is a chance to take one step closer to who you want to be. And the beauty of it, no one else gets to decide what that step looks like. Not your boss, not your critics, not even that voice in your head that loves to second guess you. This is your day, your start, your story. Now, I know life can make this feel impossible sometimes. The world doesn't always cooperate with your fresh start. Bills pile up, stress creeps in, and suddenly it feels like you're stuck in the same old cycle. But here's the truth. A fresh start isn't about the circumstances around you. It's about the perspective within you. You don't need a perfect day to start fresh. You just need the courage to claim it. And when you do, you're not just changing your day, you're changing your life, one sunrise at a time. So, tomorrow morning, when you wake up, take a deep breath and say it today is a fresh start. Let it be your battle cry, your declaration of independence from yesterday's weight. Because every day you choose to begin again, you're choosing to live fully, fiercely, and freely. Seize that power. It's yours. Let's talk about something that hits us all every single day. You wake up and before you know it, the world's throwing curveballs. Traffic's a mess. Your inbox is overflowing. Someone's opinion of you stings more than it should. It's easy to get caught up in the chaos, to let your mind spiral over things you can't change. That's why the third thing you need to tell yourself every morning is this: I choose to focus on what I can control. This isn't just a mantra, it's a lifeline. It's a deliberate act of reclaiming your peace and your power in a world that loves to pull you in every direction. Psychologically, we're wired to fixate on what's out of reach. It's called the Zeigarnik effect. Our brains obsess over unfinished tasks or unresolved problems. Add to that the modern world's noise, social media, news cycles, endless comparisons. And it's no wonder we feel scattered. But when you say, I choose to focus on what I can control, you're drawing a line in the sand. You're telling your mind to stop chasing shadows and start building something real. This is about clarity, about cutting through the fog of what might happen or what someone else thinks and zeroing in on what's in your hands right now. Philosophically, this idea echoes the Stoics, folks like Epictetus, who said there's only one thing truly ours, our ability to choose our response. You can't control the weather or what your coworker says behind your back or whether the stock market tanks. But you can control how you react. You can control the effort you put into your work, the kindness you show, the way you treat your body and mind. That's your domain, your kingdom. And when you focus there, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. This affirmation ties right into knowing you're enough, because if you believe in your worth, you trust your ability to act wisely. It connects to seeing today as a fresh start, because a new day means new choices within your grasp. Let's get practical. Say you're stuck in a meeting that's going nowhere, or you're scrolling through X and see someone living what looks like a perfect life. Your first instinct might be frustration, envy, or helplessness. That's normal, but it's also a trap. When you catch yourself slipping, pause and say, I choose to focus on what I can control. Maybe that means speaking up thoughtfully in the meeting, or putting down your phone and going for a walk. It's not about ignoring the world. It's about anchoring yourself in what you can actually do. Studies in cognitive behavioral therapy show that shifting your focus to actionable steps reduces anxiety and boosts efficacy. You're not powerless. You're just looking in the wrong place. This choice also fuels resilience, which we'll touch on later. When you focus on what you can control, you're building a mental fortress. Life will always throw punches, but you get to decide how to duck, weave, or hit back. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about recognizing what's yours to shape. Maybe you can't fix a global crisis, but you can volunteer in your community. You can't make someone else love you, but you can love yourself enough to set boundaries. That's where your power lies, not in controlling the uncontrollable, but in mastering your response to it. Now, I know this takes discipline. The world's loud, and it's easy to get distracted by what's outside your control. That's why this affirmation is a daily practice. Some days, it'll feel like second nature. Others, it'll feel like wrestling your own mind. But every time you choose to focus on what you can control, you're training yourself to live with intention. You're saying no to chaos and yes to purpose. And that choice compounds. One day of focus becomes a week, then a month, then a life where you're not just reacting, you're creating. This isn't about ignoring the big picture. It's about knowing that the big picture starts with the small, deliberate choices you make every day. So, tomorrow morning, when the world starts pulling at you, take a moment, breathe. Say it, I choose to focus on what I can control. Let that be your compass, guiding you through the noise to what matters most. Because when you master what's yours, you don't just change your day. You change your destiny. Own that power. It's waiting for you. Let's get to the heart of something we all face. Those moments when life feels like it's testing you, pushing you to your limits. You know what I'm talking about, the missed deadlines, the tough conversations, the dreams that seem just out of reach. It's in these moments that you need to anchor yourself with this truth. The fourth thing to tell yourself every day, I am capable of overcoming challenges. This isn't just a pep talk. It's a declaration of your resilience, a reminder that no matter what comes your way, you've got the strength to face it, figure it out, and come out stronger. Psychologically, this affirmation taps into what researchers call self-efficacy, the belief in your ability to handle tough situations. It's not about denying the difficulty. It's about trusting your capacity to navigate it. Our brains can trick us into thinking challenges are bigger than they are. Fear amplifies obstacles, makes them feel like mountains. But when you say, I am capable, you're rewiring that instinct. You're telling yourself that challenges aren't roadblocks, they're opportunities to prove what you're made of. Philosophically, this echoes the existentialist idea that life's meaning comes from how we confront its struggles. Thinkers like Camus talked about embracing the absurd, finding purpose in the fight itself. That's what this affirmation does. It frames every challenge as a chance to define who you are. This connects directly to the other truths you're telling yourself. If you know you're enough, you trust your worth even when the odds feel stacked against you. If you see today as a fresh start, you approach challenges with a clean slate, unburdened by past failures. And if you focus on what you can control, you zero in on the steps you can take to tackle the problem, not the noise around it. Together, these affirmations build a mindset that doesn't just survive challenges, it thrives through them. Because here's the thing, life doesn't get easier, but you get stronger. Let's break it down. Picture a moment when you felt overwhelmed. Maybe a project went south or a personal loss hit hard. Your first instinct might have been to freeze, to doubt yourself. That's human. But when you affirm your capability, you shift the narrative. You're not saying the challenge isn't real, you're saying you're realer. Studies in positive psychology show that believing in your problem-solving abilities boosts persistence and creativity. You start seeing solutions where you once saw walls. Maybe you can't fix everything at once, but you can take one step, make a call, ask for help, try again. That's where the magic happens, in those small, stubborn acts of courage. Now, this doesn't mean you'll win every battle. Sometimes, overcoming a challenge means accepting a loss and learning from it. Other times, it means redefining success. The Stoics had it right. You don't control the outcome, but you control your effort, your attitude, your refusal to quit. When I think about the greats, athletes, artists, leaders, they didn't succeed because life was kind. They succeeded because they believed they could handle whatever came next. That's the mindset you're building when you say, I am capable of overcoming challenges. It's not blind optimism. It's grounded confidence in your ability to adapt, to endure, to grow. I know it's not always easy to believe this. Some days, the challenges feel relentless. Health struggles, financial stress, relationships that test your patience. But that's when this affirmation becomes your armor. It's not about feeling invincible. It's about knowing you can keep going, even when you're tired, even when you're scared. Every challenge you faced so far, you're still here. That's not luck. That's you. That's your capacity showing up day after day, whether you gave it credit or not. This is a daily practice because challenges don't take a day off. Some mornings saying, "I am capable," will feel like a battle cry. Others, it'll feel like a whisper. Say it anyway. Let it remind you that you're not defined by what's thrown at you, but by how you respond. You're not just surviving. You're shaping your story. So, tomorrow, when the world tests you, stand tall and say it, "I am capable of overcoming challenges." Let that truth fuel your fight, because every step you take through the struggle is proof you're stronger than you know. Keep going. You were built for this. Let's talk about something we often push to the back burner, something the world doesn't always encourage us to value ourselves. Every morning, when the demands of life start piling up, work, family, that endless to-do list, there's one thing you need to tell yourself, the fifth truth to carry you through. I deserve to prioritize my well-being. This isn't about being selfish or indulgent. It's about recognizing that your mental, physical, and emotional health isn't optional. It's the foundation of everything else you do. You can't pour from an empty cup, and you can't show up for the world if you're running on fumes. Psychologically, we're conditioned to put others first, to see self-care as a luxury rather than a necessity. But that's a trap. When you neglect yourself, you're not just hurting you. You're shortchanging everyone who depends on you. Research on burnout shows that chronic stress without recovery dims your creativity, your focus, even your empathy. Saying, "I deserve to prioritize my well-being," is a rebellion against that grind culture. It's a commitment to protect your energy so you can live with purpose. Philosophically, this aligns with Aristotle's idea of eudaimonia, flourishing through balance and self-awareness. Your well-being isn't a side quest, it's the main event. This affirmation weaves into the others like a thread. If you know you're enough, you see your well-being is worth protecting. If today's a fresh start, it's a chance to make choices that nourish you. If you focus on what you can control, you prioritize rest, movement, or moments of joy. And if you're capable of overcoming challenges, you trust yourself to carve out time for your health, even when life feels relentless. Together, these truths remind you that caring for yourself isn't a detour. It's the road to resilience. Let's be real, the world doesn't make this easy. You're juggling deadlines, expectations, maybe kids or aging parents. It's tempting to think, "I'll rest when this is over." But that day never comes. Prioritizing your well-being means making intentional choices now, saying no to an extra commitment, taking 10 minutes to breathe deeply, or choosing a walk over another hour of scrolling on X. These aren't grand gestures, they're small, powerful acts of self-respect. Studies show that even brief moments of mindfulness or exercise can reset your nervous system, boosting clarity and calm. You don't need a spa day, just a decision to value yourself. This affirmation is also about dismantling guilt. Society often tells us that taking time for ourselves is selfish, especially if we're caregivers or high achievers. But flip that script. When you prioritize your well-being, you're building the strength to show up fully for others. You're modeling what it means to live intentionally. Think of it like oxygen masks on a plane. You secure yours first, not because you're more important, but because you can't help anyone else if you're gasping for air. Your well-being is your oxygen. This takes practice. Some days, it'll feel natural to choose yourself. Others, it'll feel like a fight against habit or expectation. That's okay. Say it anyway. I deserve to prioritize my well-being. Let it remind you that you're not a machine, you're a human worthy of care. So tomorrow, When the world pulls at you, pause. Choose one thing: a nap, a stretch, a moment of gratitude. That honors your health. Because when you invest in yourself, you're investing in every dream, every relationship, every moment of your life. You deserve that. Claim it. Let's talk about something that can shift how you see yourself in the grind of life. Every morning, when you're facing the mirror, the commute, or the weight of your to-do list, there's one truth you need to hold on to. The sixth thing to tell yourself: I am growing every day. This isn't about chasing perfection or checking off some grand milestone. It's about recognizing that every step, every stumble, every moment you show up is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, more you. Growth isn't a destination. It's the journey you're already on. Psychologically, this affirmation taps into what Carol Dweck calls the growth mindset, the belief that your abilities aren't fixed, but can evolve through effort and learning. Too often, we get stuck thinking we're either good at something or not, smart or not, successful or not. That's a lie that keeps us stagnant. When you say, I am growing every day, you're rejecting that trap. You're embracing the truth that every challenge, every mistake, every small win is adding to your story. Philosophically, this echoes the ideas of Heraclitus, who said you can't step into the same river twice. Change is constant, and so is your capacity to grow through it. This affirmation locks in with the others like pieces of a puzzle. If you know you're enough, you trust that your growth doesn't depend on being flawless. If today's a fresh start, it's a new chance to learn something about yourself. If you focus on what you can control, you direct your energy toward growth-oriented actions. If you're capable of overcoming challenges, you see obstacles as teachers, not threats. And if you prioritize your well-being, you create the space to grow without burning out. Together, these truths build a life where progress, not perfection, is the goal. Let's get real. Growth isn't always glamorous. It's not just promotions or breakthroughs. Sometimes it's learning patience when you're stuck in traffic, or finding courage to apologize after a fight. Growth shows up in the quiet moments. When you listen better, try harder, or choose to keep going despite doubt. Research shows that embracing small, incremental progress boosts motivation and resilience. You don't need to overhaul your life overnight. You just need to show up day after day, open to becoming a little better. The world doesn't always cheer for growth. It loves instant results, polished facades. But real growth, it's messy, slow, human. It's the extra rep you push through at the gym, the question you ask in a meeting, even though your voice shakes, the moment you forgive yourself for not knowing it all. That's why this affirmation matters. It reminds you to celebrate the process, not just the outcome. Existentialists like Kierkegaard would say life is about becoming, not being. Every day you choose to grow, you're choosing to become more fully yourself. This takes commitment. Some days, growth feels like a leap. Others, it feels like a crawl. That's okay. Say it anyway. I am growing every day. Let it be your compass when you're tempted to compare yourself to others or dwell on where you're not yet. Because every choice to learn, to try to reflect, is a step forward. So tomorrow when you wake up, say it with conviction. Let it fuel your curiosity, your courage, your persistence. Because growth isn't just what you achieve, it's who you become. Keep growing. That's your legacy.